Well, hello again, and continuing my series on the presidential candidates. I am Louise Eddington. I am the Cosmic Owl of Cosmic Owl Astrology. I love my new name. Anyway, I was trying to decide who to do next. Oh, hang on. I've just stopped my volume in case it was low. I was trying to think who to do next, and I thought I'd get one out of the way so I can try and leave behind my own biases, because all astrologers have their own biases, and I am a definite Bernie Sanders girl. Anybody that knows me knows that, and I'll make no apologies for it, but I'm trying to just look at the astrology here, all right? But please bear in mind that even astrologers making predictions, they have their biases, and when it comes to this kind of thing, for sure. So please bear that in mind. So Bernie, my favorite Virgo in the world, and last election I was actually a national delegate for Bernie Sanders and pretty obsessed, and I did an article for him. It was based on a time of 12:27 p.m, which I thought was confirmed, but it isn't. So I've switched this chart to a zero Aries chart, which doesn't take account of the time, so we won't be looking at houses again, as we didn't with Tulsi Gabbard. But I just want to mention a couple of bits that happened back in the last election. I've not got the date exactly right for when I was looking, but when I wrote an article that pointed out that during that last primary, Bernie Sanders was having a nodal return and Jupiter was crossing over his sun. And there was a couple of other things too, but they're the two things that really kind of stand out to me. Oh, and also Uranus and Eris were on his Mars back in 2016 too. And I predicted that even if he didn't win the nomination and the election, which we know he didn't, that he would change the face of politics in this country. And we can see that he has done. He was in his Virgo serving purpose. Virgo is very much about being of service and about, really kind of being a useful being in the world and having meaning. And we can see that all the candidates in the Democratic Party have shifted more towards Bernie Sanders policies since then. So that did kind of happen. So that's all I want to say about what I kind of said back then. A nodal return is kind of when you're reaching your purpose. All right. So this election and what's going on now. So I'm looking at the transits now, where the planets are now, but first we'll go back to his chart. As I said, he's a Virgo, and his sun's very close to his north node, so he's that really, people go, why didn't he run before and things like that. Well, it's timing. A, the will of the people has to be ready, and B, his purpose in his life, which his dharma, if you like, was triggered by his nodal return and some other aspects. So there's that. He probably wasn't ready on the previous nodal return 19 years earlier. I haven't checked what he did back then. So, I kind of look at this about how are they playing their part, what's being activated in their chart to make them step forward right now and to be a part of this. What I find most interesting this time around is Bernie's Mars Sedna as well, and his moon. We're not sure of the degree though, so we won't look at that because we don't have an exact time. But it's definitely in Aries, and is opposing his Venus, and his Venus is in the sign it rules, Libra, and Mars is in the sign it rules, Aries, and they're both really strong with that one. And Sedna is a recently discovered one. Alan Clay, astrologer, has done a book, and I haven't read the book yet, but I did a quick class, and it's elements of spiritual destiny. Okay, so Bernie's Sedna is there next to his Mars, and he's got this cardinal opposition. Now, if you watch my video on Tulsi Gabbard, she has a very strong cardinal opposition too, but with different planets. So, like Tulsi Gabbard, this means that all this lineup of planets that's coming up to 22 degrees is squaring this. Okay, so he's a disruptor too. Eris is disrupting all this, but bringing him more to kind of his spiritual destiny, if you like. Now, my personal take on this, that it's Venus and Mars, both in their own signs that are being squared, is that Bernie's always saying, it's not me, it's us. And it's not about me, it's about you, kind of thing. And this is the us, this is the we over here. And this is about values and love. And I don't know if I watched the Democratic debate last night, and Bernie talked about, a society based on love, basically. Love for each other, for fellow human beings and things like that. And then this is the area that's being shaken up. It's like, what's my personal responsibility with us, we, over here? And they're both really strong. And it's the anima, the animus, the night and day, bringing all that in. Well, this is all day energy, actually. And it's kind of saying, he's kind of saying, I'm shaking up that status quo again. There's been articles flying around this week, and you may not agree, you don't have to, but, he's possibly the most feminist of candidates because he sees the bigger picture and the connections between economic injustice and sexual, racial, everything, all the other injustices that we have, and inequalities. And of course, he's always talking about equality and bridging the gap between the billionaires and the people. And that's very Libra too, bringing into balance, bringing into harmony, bringing equality, bringing more egalitarian energy and true social justice. I'm not talking about some of the more politically correct stuff, but social justice. So, and all this energy in Pluto, in Capricorn that we're having right now, like it was squaring Tulsi Gabbard, is also squaring his. And a T square is always a tension, it's always a shake-up, it's always, let's friction, break things up a little bit. So, because that forms a T square. So that's kind of the most prominent thing. The other thing, though, is his nodes again, his lunar nodes, his karma and his dharma. And that he's kind of the practical mystic in it. He talks about love. He talks about, coming together and all that kind of energy. And his nodes are at 22 degrees. So when all the planets meet at 22 degrees in January, and we're feeling it now, so it's showing up now for him, it's making a sextile to his south node and a trine to his north node over here. And Neptune, the ruler of his south node, is here. So again, he's being pulled to his spiritual destiny by all of this. And, he seems, I know I'm biased, but even if you look at it objectively, since his heart attack, he seems to have be glowing and blooming, as if he's filled with some kind of purpose and light. You might not like his purpose, but that's what's coming from within him, and that's this. He feels like he's on his purpose. He feels like he has to do this, and I don't think, no matter what, I think he's going to keep going as long as he can to bring the real changes that he sees need to be happening. So that's kind of my quick take on Bernie Sanders. Again, I'm making no predictions whether they win. I'm more interested in their place in this whole thing and what their purpose is in this. And Bernie is way on his spiritual destiny. All right. Okay. So, thank you. Oh, don't forget to subscribe. All right. And hit that little bell so you get notified when I do upload new ones. I'm going to be doing lots more YouTube videos, teaching ones, things like this, all kinds of fun videos. So you want to subscribe and you want to get notified when I bring up new ones. So thanks for listening.